just the guy I was looking for. I wanted to talk to you about this seminar that's coming up.
How to implement a quality initiative at any level in your organization. This quality thing's really in with the company right now, isn't it?
It sure is. Well, we've all been pushing this quality thing, as you know, and we've done quite a bit with it. But now we've got to get more involved. The question is, what actions can you and I take towards the quality goal?
Good question.
Have a seat.
What can we do?
Well, for one thing, I thought maybe you could help us find out more. What if you go to this seminar? You could find out how to get our quality effort moving more for our department.
I could try. It sounds good, but this looks complicated.
Why don't you go to this seminar and see what you think? Okay?
It's been my pleasure to talk to you today about quality improvement and how you as individuals can make it happen. Remember, quality improvement means meeting and exceeding customer expectations. This really sums up all that we've been saying. The customer is at the center of any quality effort, and it's the customer that defines quality. That's the key. And in closing, let me emphasize that anyone at any level of your organization can use these 4 steps, whether or not your organization has a formal effort. And it's important to recognize that each and every one of you is responsible for quality. Thank you again for being here today. I wish you lots of luck on your quality journey.
Excuse me? Great presentation, Richard.
Thank you very much.
Do you have time for a question?
Sure. How can I help?
Well, to be honest, I'm a little puzzled. I thought quality was more complicated than this. I mean, these 4 steps seem pretty basic. Was it really that simple?
You know, the beauty of these 4 steps is that they are simple, and they can be used by anyone to improve the quality of any product or service.
So you really think I can do this by myself?
Of course you could, but it really would be even better if you could get others involved helping you. But let me know how it goes for you.
Sure.
Good luck.
Thank you. So here it is. It's all based on the customer's definition of quality. You follow these 4 steps. 1, define customer needs and expectations. 2, analyze the current process. 3, identify and implement process improvements. And 4, measure the improved process.
The emphasis seems to be on processes. What specifically do we mean by a process?
It's the steps we follow to provide a product or a service to a direct customer. The idea is anyone can change a process over which he or she has control.
Want to have a go at becoming our quality expert?
Well, I can give it a try. So what I learned in the seminar is that we can improve the quality of what we do and have an impact on others.
Wait a minute, things are going fine. Why create problems? You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but they also say you don't have to be sick to get better.
Fred, the boss thinks we do quality work. We all got good performance reviews last period, didn't we?
But our boss is the one pushing this. And she understands that it's the customer that defines quality, not you or me or whatever she puts on a performance review. If the customer isn't satisfied, we're not doing quality work.
But you forgot one thing, Fred. We don't deal with the customer.
Everyone here deals with a customer, Helen. We may not have direct contact with the outside customers, but we have customers of our own. Like sales, for example. We provide them with certain services, right?
If you're talking about internal customer service, we already know about being polite and considerate.
Quality improvement is more than that. Let me give you an example. The invoices we produce go to sales, right? Now, do those invoices meet their needs and expectations, or could the quality be improved?
That doesn't. I work for my boss, not the sales department. I'm not going to do somebody else's work. I've got enough of my own.
Oh, Helen. I believe you ordered these yesterday. Here you are. How's that for quick service?
These are statement forms. I don't need these until the end of the month. This is the 10th of the month. I need 9A report forms.
Well, I don't think you ordered 9 A's.
Okay, I forgot. But you'd think by now, someone down in your department would realize that I need about 309 A's every 10th of the month.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, the system's set up so I only deliver what I get a requisition for.
Well, it's a stupid system.
Looks like it's going to be up to us. You know, since we're involved in a lot of the same processes, I'd really appreciate your help on this.
What do we have to do?
Okay. We start with step 1. Define customer needs and expectations. There's a lot of ways you can do this. You can do phone surveys, send out questionnaires, get focus groups together, do face-to-face interviews.
Wait a minute, that's going to take a lot of time, and I'm really busy this week. Fred, Maybe you can get started on it, and I'll help you later.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll take care of the first steps, and then I'll call on you later. Step 1, define customer needs and expectations. Sales. So I guess the thing is, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. I'd like to know how we can improve what you get from me.
Boy, you guys must not have a lot of work to do if you can go around asking for complaints, huh?
Seriously. Think about invoices. Do your customers have any problems? Is there anything more you need?
Yeah. I need a cup of coffee.
Me too.
So the point is to help you do a better job by making sure that what we give you meets with your needs and expectations.
You keep saying needs and expectations. What's the difference?
Well, one of the biggest reasons for customer dissatisfaction is that we tend to focus on the need and completely miss the expectation.
Come on, Fred, it's not that tough to figure out what the customer wants. Call it a need and an expectation. Call it a demand. It's all the same thing. God, that is awful coffee.
Why are you complaining? You said you needed a cup of coffee. You paid your money and you got one.
Yeah, but I expected it to be hot and not taste like dishwater.
Ah. So your needs and your expectations were not the same thing.
Well, maybe you got a point.
So you're saying, for example, we might tell you we need a copy of the invoice with the shipment, but we expect it on the day the shipment goes out, not 3 weeks later.
Exactly. Now, is that a real problem for you? Because if it is, maybe I can change the process.
Could you really?
Yeah.
This may have possibilities, Rick. Let's talk about it.
Yeah?
So what I'm after are needs and expectations that come up often enough with enough customers to justify changing a process. We need to define common needs and expectations.
We get invoices late, say 20% of the time, right, Rick?
Yeah. Okay. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. What else can you tell me?
Look, all this interest in helping us do our job is certainly welcome, but why are you doing this?
Okay, my boss is pushing us,
Oh, I get it. Promotion, right?
but I really believe that every one of us can make a difference. If I get quality service from shipping and I give the same to you, it's easier for you to give quality products and services to our outside customers. Everybody benefits.
Well, if you put it that way, maybe.
What else can we say? Invoices are the only things I can think of that we don't get on time.
Timeliness isn't the only consideration. Think about accuracy, quantity, effectiveness. Do our invoices give you all the information that you need? Are they easy to read? Is there anything we can do for you that we're not doing now? Part of the quality effort is to not only meet but exceed expectations.
All right, can you make the invoices more detailed?
I need more specifics than that. What parts are a problem? What details do our customers want? What percentage of our customers are we talking about here? I need specific, measurable stuff.
Well, you don't want much, do you? Look, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I think you got a good idea.
Great. Can you give me something by Friday?
Okay.
Hi, Helen. Here it is. Got some great results from one of our customers, sales. Typed up their needs and expectations. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, Fred, but this is going to take a lot of changes.
And that would be a lot of work.
The way that we invoice now is part of a system, Fred. We can't just turn that upside down.
We're not talking about major policy changes here.
I'm swamped with the work I've got now. I'm sorry, Fred. I'm out.
It sure is hard to get people to listen.
I'm willing to listen. I know you think this is going to work. I just don't see how.
Okay. This is what he explained at the seminar.
After you've determined your customer's needs and expectations, you're going to move to step number 2, which is analyze current process. Now, there are several quality improvement methods and tools that you can use to begin to identify gaps between what your customer needs and expects and what your process actually delivers.
Okay, now we're going to do step 2 and analyze the current process. Now, we've targeted invoicing for improvement, so we need to use the process flowchart. Okay, first we list all the steps involved in this process. Are you with me on this? Okay, now to map out this process, let's picture in our minds exactly how each piece of information and paperwork proceeds from shipping to the finished invoice. Now, where do we start?
Okay. You receive the shipping documents on your desk, right?
Yes.
Then what?
Then I verify the information against the order.
Wait a minute. What if we check the original quote here? Wouldn't that eliminate some of the price problems the sales complained about?
Okay, now we'll come back later and identify possible process improvements. But right now, what we need to do is chart out how the process currently works. So, what's next? 3, I enter the information on the computer, and I print out a copy.
Then it disappears into accounting for approval.
Right.
Great. It could be there for days, just waiting.
Yeah, it's a definite holdup in the current process. Let's finish this first. Then what?
Then the final copy gets filed. Now what?
I think we're ready for step 3.
I can't believe that you two are still working on this. Who's doing your real work?
Improving is our real work, Helen, and we're making progress. Okay, step 3. Identify and implement process improvements.
If you ask me, the best way to improve is to get busy and work, not sit around talking about it.
I don't know, Helen. This is starting to make sense. Step 3, identify and implement process improvements. How do we do that?
Yeah. How, Fred?
Let me see if I can remember how it was explained.
And next we move to step number 3, which is identify and implement process improvements. And a word of caution here. Once you implement these changes, it's critical to do them consistently in order to get results. Take a look at each step and ask, does this step add value for the customer? In other words, is it important to the customer? And if not, maybe you can eliminate it because it's...
Let's look into the possibility of eliminating these 2.
Yeah, those copies just get filed anyway.
But we have to find out whether making a change at this step is going to change what somebody else does. So, anything where we need to check with somebody else first, we'll use a question mark.
I really don't see anything else we can eliminate or change.
Well, remember, we're just brainstorming here. I mean, we might want to add steps. For example, remember your idea about checking against the original quote up here?
I'd like to see what you do about number 5.
Yeah. Well, and hang up in accounting certainly doesn't add any value for the customer.
So what can we do? Go in and tell accounting to get on the ball?
Yeah, I'd like to see you try that.
Well, let me think. Is there something you need, Gary?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering if I could get just a couple minutes and ask you guys a couple of questions.
Well, anytime later today would be good.
Yeah, for me too.
What about 11, Gary? Look, I can't take any more time with this, Fred.
Look, I have an idea. What if I take this step and move it up here, and that way the delay in accounting won't hang up the rest of the process?
Yeah, but isn't that going to mess up the process for everybody else?
You got a point. This is all a lot more technical than I thought it was going to be.
Face it, you don't have the time or the authority to do this. This is not for people at our level.
It's a great concept, Fred, but it's just too complicated and risky. It just won't work. Come on.
It's too bad. Looked like a pretty good idea.
Hey, you two. How's it going? You making any progress?
I think so, but this quality improvement's pretty technical. We keep running into complications like changing processes in other departments, which we can't do.
No, that's true. But you know, I've been studying the information you gave me. Remember the point about focusing on improvements you can make? Things that don't affect company policy or disrupt systems.
Yeah, but Karen, are these little improvements enough to justify the time we're spending on this?
Up.
If you do this, I think you're going to save time in the long run. And if everyone makes a lot of little improvements, that's got to add up to significant quality for our customers. Let's talk about this. I don't think we should give up. We just got our customer survey back. Guess what's at the top of our customers' reason to buy list?
I know, quality.
Right. So quality improvement has to be a major focus for all of us. A couple of managers asked me if you talk to their people about what we're doing.
I don't know what I'd tell them.
How about what you told me? You said, I really believe if everyone improves the quality of what they do, we'll
all benefit. I know, I remember. I do believe that. All right, I'll keep plugging.
Don't give up. Everyone needs to take on this kind of responsibility.
Let's do it.
And finally, by restructuring in this way, we can meet sales department's needs and expectations.
You're actually giving them more than they asked for, aren't you?
We tried to exceed their expectations. It's an important part of quality improvement.
So are we done?
I think we should assign ourselves specific tasks.
Good idea.
And may I suggest you'll want to measure the results so you can determine if the changes really do improve quality.
You're getting ahead of us. That's step 4, measure improved process.
Now, depending on your customer's needs and expectations, some of the things you may want to measure are cost, time, accuracy, and of course, customer satisfaction. Surveys and response cards can give you measurable answers to how well you're doing. However, keep it in mind that these measurements not only tell you how well you did, they tell you where you can do even better.
You know, we've only been working on this quality effort for 6 weeks and we're already seeing improvement.
I know. And a good thing we focused on step number 4 and worked out how we were going to measure the improved process. The system we worked out for tracking errors turned out to be pretty good.
We also did a good job of evaluating the cost of making these changes. Okay, then. And of course, one of the most important things was to work with sales to measure customer satisfaction.
That's great.
Well, you two are sure pleased with yourselves.
We are, Helen. We're getting good results. Look, sales now get their invoice copies the same day as shipment, and price problems are down from 8 a month to 2.
And there hasn't been a peep of complaint out of sales in weeks.
They're satisfied customers.
Hey, Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Would you guys excuse me a minute?
Sure. Fred, we've got a problem with these invoices. Something has got to be done.
Well, there goes another satisfied customer, Fred.
You returned the evaluations of all the changes that we made. All your comments were positive. What happened?
That was 2 weeks ago. This is something new.
So what happened?
Well, you got us thinking about this quality improvement stuff, and I've been asking our customers about their needs and expectations, and today I got an earful. Let me tell you, I was surprised when this customer who never complained started telling me how unhappy he was.
Well, since you asked, Janet, let me be perfectly honest and tell you about a couple things our other suppliers are giving us. For one thing, your invoices are terrible. They're hard to read. I mean, sometimes I get invoiced, I don't even know what I'm being invoiced for. And another thing, when we get a shipment...
I had no idea they had all these expectations, and he was dead serious about it. I'm afraid they're going to do business with companies that give them what they expect. What can we do?
Look, I can process their invoices on a special need basis.
Fred, this isn't a special need. If the competition can do it, why can't we?
You're right. We'll look into this and I'll get back to you on it. I promise.
We've gone through all the steps and sales still isn't happy. I knew this quality thing wouldn't work.
Can't believe I forgot the most important thing about quality improvement. It's a continuous process.
I can see the value in continuing to get customer feedback, but in this case, sales wants changes in a process we can't change.
But we can pass the information along to the right person, can't we?
What you're saying is you've made all the improvements that you can, but you could do more if other departments got involved?
Well, I think so, but that's not practical.
Maybe it is. What if we brought together people from other departments to explore improvement possibilities? Would you be willing to head up a team to do that?
It sounds like a real challenge, but I could try.
Good.
Some of the people on the team were skeptical at first, but when they realized we could help each other out, they started to get serious.
I feel we're all working towards the same goal now.
This whole quality effort is turning out to be a big plus in more ways than one. Invoices are getting out faster, errors are down, customer feedback is positive, and we're communicating better with other departments.
Okay, I can see you've accomplished some things, but it's taken extra time and work. I still say it's too complicated. It isn't that simple.
Oh, excuse me. Helen, these are for you.
For a change, that shelf isn't full of supplies I never use.
I know. These are your 9As. I know you need them by the 10th.
I never get my 9As until I start screaming. Okay, what's going on?
Well, I asked you about what you needed and when. Remember?
Helen, I have a sneaking suspicion that what Gary did was quality improvement. I wouldn't be surprised if he even followed our 4 steps.
He defined your needs and expectations. That was step 1. Then what did you do with the information you got, Gary?
Well, I sat down, took a look at the way I distribute supplies. I got the idea from what I saw you guys doing. I realized there was no place on the forms for when you need supplies.
That was step 2. He analyzed the current process. And then?
I simply added a line to the form that indicates special requests. Like deliver at certain times or certain amounts. That I could do.
That was step 3. He identified and implemented process improvements. Wait a minute. How did you know if your changes were getting results?
Well, I'm making it a point to keep checking these shelves at least once a week. If the supplies are piling up, I know the system's not working perfectly yet. But I'm also making it a point to keep asking.
At step 4, he measured the improved process. And he didn't forget to keep checking for feedback to look for ways to continually improve. Who says that quality improvement isn't for everyone? Look what Gary did.
And it was simple.
All right, you made your point. I'll admit it. It works. I want those 4 points. You did a terrific job. Thanks, Gary, really.
So, no matter what type of organization you're in, and no matter what your job level is, you can improve the quality of your work. The key to quality is continuous improvement. And remember, you don't have to be sick to get better.